Well, hello, everybody, and welcome back to a special episode of We Watch Shudder. My name is Michelle, and who's here with me?
It's JD! Take two. Happy 2026, everybody.
It's JD. It's always JD, but it's not always 2026. Well, never mind. It is currently always 2026, but not in all of our episodes. All of our episodes, it has been JD, but all of our episodes, it has not been 2026.
Right. It's not gonna be always 2026 forever.
Thank God. I already have bad feelings about this upcoming year. I'm ready for 2027. It's been a long year.
We're 16 hours in, man. That's not good, Michelle.
It's been a really stressful year. Very stressful.
Been a very stressful year so far for you. I understand.
Yeah.
It's been a pretty good year for me. I've been sleeping most of the year.
Oh, so nice.
Just like the first half of the year so far.
Yeah. So, yeah. Oh, that's so nice. I hope I get to sleep half the year. And then I hope I get to sleep all of 2027 because I'm dead.
Wow, that got deep, dark, real quick. Real fucking quick.
That's what they called me in high school.
Deep and dark or real fucking quick?
Deep, dark, real fucking quick Michelle. Oh, here she comes again. Hide your dicks, boys. The black hole approaches. She's gonna spaghettify you. Slurp it up.
Jesus Christ. So that's how we start the year, huh? All right. It's a good way to do it. Hi, by the way, if this is your first time tuning into We Watch Shudder, you picked a good one. As Michelle said, it's a special episode. We are going to be talking about our favorite films of 2025. Quite a few of these things we're going to talk about today are movies that we did full episodes on throughout the year. We're not going to go into too heavy a detail on any of these because we got a lot of shit to talk about. Spoiler free, spoiler light. But we got a lot of stuff to talk about. And like I said, you picked a great time to jump in. We're going to talk about, because we started doing more non-Shudder stuff as well, we've got 2 top 5 lists we're each going to run down for you today. We have our top 5 Shudder releases and our top 5 non-Shudder releases. Then we also got some extra stuff we're going to throw in there as well, but I have not seen Michelle's lists. I know Michelle has not seen my lists, but I've been a little bit more open about what's on there because I'm really bad at keeping secrets. But we got a lot of fun stuff to talk about today. Michelle, are you prepared?
I think so. Here's my disclaimer. I have changed my mind on some things and decided that I like some things more than I initially did, and I disliked other things more. But also, I'm PMSing, so my desire to watch people die in horrible ways is much more pronounced today than it might be other days. So I'm confident on the top 3 of both my lists. The rest, it's how I feel today. And don't look back if I have previous scores on these. I don't care. This is what I like today. So I know my top 3 of each.
That's entirely fair. This is Michelle's top 10 or top 5 Shudder and non-Shudder of 2025 today.
Yes, exactly. There are some that, like, the number one on both, solid.
I think, honestly, that fits in with our general scoring mentality, or at least my scoring mentality, which is that, these are not, we're not trying to be super, like, heavy-duty movie critics here. Michelle's probably like, JD, what are you doing? I'm trying to take my insulin and record this podcast at the same time.
Had not noticed. I took a Xanax before we started. We medicate in different ways.
Ooh, Xanax is fun. I don't medicate with it, but it's a good... never mind, I didn't say that.
I've never done it recreationally. It actually does not... It's not a fun drug for me. Like, it just makes me feel normal. I have... Like, that's how anxious I am. I take my Xanax, and I'm like, oh, cool, I only have 1 or 2 thoughts now. That's nice. Like, it does not make me feel any sort of, like, I want to party or I want to, like, hang out on the couch.
My brain shut up.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Because I take it when I'm, like, there's a lot of me's and they all have things to say. So hopefully only one of those comes out today.
Yeah.
But we'll find out.
So, also important to note, I know Michelle keeps a slightly different standard, but for me, what counts as a 2025 movie is like I base my dates on when the movie became easily available to most people. Like, there are a lot of movies that I'm going to talk about today that technically had their debut last year, 2024, because they were playing on festivals and that sort of thing that year, but they didn't
Wait, JD. You're telling me that your top list of the year includes movies from 2 years ago?
Yes. Yes. Oh, okay. Well, movies that were made 2 years ago. Yeah. Okay, that's fine. Way to try to cop an attitude, and I just wasn't having it. I'm not in for your shenanigans in 2026, Michelle.
Whoa. Your New Year's resolution is to put up with less of my shit. But my New Year's resolution is to be a fucking menace. Shit. I want to be a menace to society, and it's starting off strong. I have bullied so many of my friends. It's been great. As long
as you're not a menace to South Central while drinking your juice in the hood, everything will be just
I would
fine.
Never do that. Those people have been through enough. They don't need me showing up gremlin mode.
Did you understand that reference, or are you just rolling with it?
I love that movie.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
I've seen that movie. I have that on DVD.
I've watched cheeseburgers, man.
Yep, great movie. Great movie. I grew up with that movie.
Yeah. So that's what we're talking about today is our favorite movies of the year. It was real easy for me because I just went back through my list of ratings for the year, and it ended up perfect. I had 5 Skull Shudder releases, and I technically had 6 5 Skull non-Shudder releases, but one of them's a documentary, so that doesn't really play in here for me. And then I had a few honorable mentions that I wanted to do, so this was real easy. And Michelle had to take at least one Xanax before we even recorded because she didn't know how it was going to go.
I've been working on it for a week, and I'm still not confident.
That's for those of you who have been with us a while now, that's textbook Michelle. So nobody, I think, is very surprised.
I tried my hardest. This is what I got.
Here's what we're going to do today. I got a few honorable mention titles that I'm just going to get out of the way as kind of a, hey, these are movies I really liked, but didn't make the top cut to see maybe, I thought that would make the top. Now what's in there? Then we're going to go through our top 5 lists, and then Michelle has prepared for us an overwhelming amount of honorable mentions that we're going to call the Michelle Awards. She's got some stuff that she wants to talk about specifically because of elements in them that didn't quite make the top list. So we're going to have a good time today. Let me just hit out these honorable mentions here and just get them out of the way. So a couple of these are Shudder movies, a couple of them are non-Shudder movies, so I don't have 5 of each or anything. First one I want to mention is that documentary from earlier this year, Dinner with Leatherface, 5 Skull documentary. Of course, everybody at this point knows how much I love the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. That's one of those movies where if you call yourself a horror fan and you have to love the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, right? Like, you don't have to be a crazy overall 70s horror person. I feel like if you don't enjoy, or not necessarily enjoy, but if you don't appreciate and respect the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, you don't know anything about horror. And that was an excellent documentary about Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Gunnar Hansen and everything involved there. Really liked it. Did you ever get a chance to see that, Michelle?
I'm trying to remember if I did, and I think yes, I did see that one because that was the majority celebrities being interviewed talking about his impact on their life. Okay, the one I have not seen yet is Chain Reactions, and that's the one I'm more excited for, but I don't think it's widely available because I have not been able to see it yet. We got 2 Gunnar Hansen movies, documentaries so close that I was trying to think which one was which. And yes, I did see Dinner with Leatherface. So
that made my my honorable mentions. Another one, and then I had these 4 movies that were 4.5 Skull films for me. These were the ones from this year that not quite that 5 Skull when I first saw them. Shout out, honorable mention goes to the Josh Rubin slasher flick from Valentine's Day, Heart Eyes. What a fun return to like a traditional slasher format. Really enjoyed this movie. We did an episode for it that unfortunately had to be really delayed because, man, 2025 was a fucking year for us, let me tell you. But, of course, you can go back and listen to that. I believe, wasn't Jenna a guest on that episode, Michelle?
On our Heart Eyes one? I don't remember. She just like pops in and out. Fun fact, just a honorable mention to our friend Jenna.
Yeah, for sure.
Last night for New Year's, I went out to just play some board games at the bar where she works. And that was our very like chill, like we don't want to be around a lot of people. We just want to hang out. And I wound up running into a friend who I knew, who I was like, come play board games with us since you're here anyway. And then we don't have to like talk across the bar, eat each other. He had a friend there. And this is how cool Jenna is. We found out that this guy listens to our podcast because he listened to the Cabin in the Woods episode with Jenna and then hung around. He's like,
awesome.
Jenna was so funny that now I listen to you guys, and I didn't realize that was you that I've been talking to until Jenna got here.
Oh, that's awesome.
Because he didn't know I knew Jenna. It was the funniest thing. So shout out to Jenna.
How would he not know that you knew Jenna when she's been on the podcast?
Well, he didn't know, like, Jenna was joining us.
Oh,
so he thought, like, I was there, ran into my friend Joe, asked Joe to come hang out. We're talking about, like, how much we love movies.
So
and
he
then,
just
like,
didn't
Jenna
put together that Jenna at the bar was Jenna from the podcast.
No, he knew Jenna from the podcast, didn't know Jenna was on my podcast, and that I was the podcast he listened to listen to her. Yeah.
Oh, are you talking about Don't Make Me Watch That?
No. I'm talking about... Okay.
It doesn't matter.
Let me start over.
No.
Let me start over. This guy I was talking to, after a while, Jenna came to join us, and he was like, you know Jenna? How do you know Jenna? And I was like, we're like bestest friends. That's how we know each other. And Jenna was like, yeah, oh, you guys are talking about movies? Yeah, Michelle's podcast. And he's like, wait, Michelle's podcast? Is that the podcast you were on? And Jenna's like, yes. And he's like, I listened to that podcast. I didn't know that was you guys. That's how it happened.
Oh, so he had heard our podcast with Michelle as a guest, but didn't know that you were one of the co-hosts of our show.
Well, with Jenna as a guest, but I guess I could be a guest too. You said with Michelle as a guest, and I do like the idea that I'm just perpetually a guest on this podcast.
Man, this is great podcasting for all of those folks who tuned in for the first time.
I'm having a great time.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm going to take a second and let my cat out of the room while you keep going through your list, though, because she's being a real menace in South Central High while drinking our juice in the hood.
No worries. So yeah, Heart Eyes was on that honorable mention list. The other one that was not a Shudder release is The Ice Tower. This is put out by Yellow Veil Pictures. It's written and directed by Lucille H. It's like a French name that I don't have right in front of me right now, and I don't want to try to pronounce it and butcher it. But fantastic movie starring Marion Cotillard that I was gonna bring to the Fargo Theater, and then life happened and we had to skip that event. But I really enjoyed it. Very horror adjacent, that movie, more of a dark fantasy than really a horror movie, but really enjoyed that one. And then the two from Shudder that I'm sorry, Michelle, did you have any thoughts on The Ice Tower? I know you had a chance to see that, did you not?
I didn't love it to the extent that you loved it, but it's also not my thing. You related to the themes a lot more, so no real comments. My comments about Hard Eyes is, I fucking love Josh Rubin. So that was my only comment to that. Yeah, some real good violence, real good. It was just good classic slasher.
And then the obviously there's, if you're gonna be violent, you better do it well.
Consensually.
The two Shudder releases that got the 4.5, not quite making the top of the list. A folk horror film that was released early in the year called Frawaka, that I really, really enjoyed. That very classic, like, Wicker Man type folk horror where it definitely builds to a very, like sudden climax at the end, and then it's just kind of done. But it's, I really loved that movie. Matt Smith is in it. Isn't that the guy? Or am I thinking of one of the other Doctor Who's, who was in Frawaka?
Which one are we talking
No, Matt Smith was in Starvaker. Never mind. I'm confusing two movies and their casts, but,
and then it confused me, and I'm already confused enough.
That's my bad. And then the other one was The Dead Thing. Which another Yellow Veil Pictures release. Those guys are just doing incredible things lately. But really enjoyed this movie. I'm not going to lie to you. This year was very, very difficult and stressful, and I have a lot of memory issues with this year. I remember this was a movie about a lady who was dating and using some apps, and then she meets this guy, and things might not be exactly what they seem. I do very clearly remember enjoying the hell out of the film. I'll probably want to go back and rewatch this one to refresh it in my memory a little bit. But The Dead Thing, honorable mention for 2025.
I remember The Dead Thing because it's one of the biggest compliments you gave to me, where you said that when I said she was the dead thing all along.
Oh, yeah.
Like, oh, that was so insightful. I was like, oh, I've been insightful for the first time in my life. Yes. I've done it.
I do remember that moment. Yeah. And the more Yeah, I just pulled up some notes about it here from back, and okay, this one, I remember this one. There's a real solid movie. I clearly love a lot of things from Yellow Veil Pictures, and I can't get enough of what those folks are doing. They just dropped that movie, A Desert. I keep wanting to say A Dessert. A Desert just released on Shudder today that we're going to be doing an episode on in a couple of weeks. That's a Yellow Veil thing. The Dead Thing was Yellow Veil. The Ice Tower was Yellow Veil. There's a movie called A Grand Mockery that I really want to see. There's a movie called She Loved Blossoms More. That was a 2025 release that I have not been able to see yet. I'm so excited for. Yep. If you are not following Yellow Veil Pictures, you are doing it wrong. Anyway.
I feel like we have to give a shout out to our movie event that will be coming up for Yellow Veil Pictures. This is the perfect time to plug it.
Yeah, so Saturday, March 28th, here in Fargo, if you're in the Fargo-Moorhead area, or near enough that you are interested in traveling for a movie. March 28th, we're going to be showing a movie called Touch Me, that is a Yellow Veil release. It is hilarious. It is splattery and sticky and fun. It is quintessential purple movie, as Michelle and I have talked about before. Not quite sure yet when tickets are going to go on sale. We got some paperwork to finalize, and I got to talk to Yellow Veil about when they want us to put things on sale, that sort of thing, make the official announcements. But we're real excited about that. If you're curious on our thoughts on Touch Me, check out the most recent Michelle in review for December 2025.
And in case you don't, right now, Touch Me is already on the potential top for 2026.
Yeah,
because I keep a long list, which is why it's hard for me to narrow it down at the end of the year. But that means I don't forget something that I saw in January that was a small indie thing, and I don't remember it. So that's already I put it on my best of 2026 contender list.
Dead Lover, another one that I'm really looking forward to seeing from Yellow Veil. That was all the rage on the festivals last year and should be getting an actual public release sometime this year.
There were so many articles and reviews from people who saw it at festivals and loved it. Yeah. I'm very excited about that one.
All right, so those are my honorable mentions for the year that I wanted to throw out there. I think we can dive in then to the top five. So the way we're going to do this is we're going to do the lists parallel, right? We're going to do our number 5 from each list, then our number 4 from each list, and kind of build to the big finish with all of our number 1s. Michelle, remind me, were you going to start or was I going to start?
We hadn't worked this out. What does your heart tell you?
Well, we're going to start with the non-horror, or not the non-horror, but the non-Shudder releases, correct?
Oh, no, we're starting with Shudder releases.
Oh, we're starting with Shudder releases.
Yeah, that one I know, because that's how we've done it every year.
Okay, fair enough.
That part I know.
I'll go ahead and start. I think that's fine, as long as we're coming off of my honorable mentions. So The Dead Thing didn't make it. Frawaka didn't make it. What did make it to my top 5 Shudder releases? Number 5, The Rule of Jenny Penn. Going back to earlier in the year, starring Jeffrey Rush and John Lithgow, and a supporting performance by George Hanare. This is a movie that makes my list definitely creepy and weird, but this movie is an actor's dream. Right? It's got a solid enough story that it's not just character driven, which I know a lot of longtime listeners know that isn't my favorite thing. I don't mind character-driven things as long as there's still a decent amount of plot there. And this has a good story. It has incredible performances, of course, from John Lithgow and Jeffrey Rush. But like, this movie has a scene, George Hanare, like the dinner, the cafeteria sequence that George Hanare performs towards the end of this film, and I'm not going to say anything else about it. It's the kind of thing that if I was involved in that sort of stuff, I would be like talking about major acting awards. It is gut-wrenching and powerful and just really, really well done. If you enjoy watching just quality performance in the context of an interesting film, this one is so fucking good.
I am not surprised that's on your list, but I completely forgot about that movie. Not in a way of like, it's bad.
No, that's fine.
Not in a like, it's bad. It's just like a, oh yeah, of course that's going to be on your list. You really
Michelle,
like that movie.
We had a stressful year. There's a lot of stuff we've forgotten, I'm sure.
Yeah, so much I'm looking forward to forgetting. Do you want to hear my number 5 spot?
Not
for
particularly,
Shudder?
No. Okay, it's a great joke.
Does the listener
yes,
want to hear it?
Please,
okay.
You're number 5.
I'm going to say it anyway. This one has 2 titles because it translates differently according to where you're looking at it. Best Regards to All,
yes!
Or Best Wishes to All. It was released in Japan in 2022. However, it was not available for streaming in the US until 2025. It got a Shudder release, so fuck it. That counts. It did not exist for me until 2025. This movie is great, and I have not heard enough people mention it. I love Asian horror, particular horror that comes from Japan, I think, and then sometimes Hong Kong with The Sadness, which I own on Blu-ray now in beautiful high def, and I love it.
Wait, isn't The Sadness from Taiwan?
I thought that was the debatable one, where it said Hong Kong on IMDb. I remember, we don't have to, completely different movie.
I'm sorry, I don't want to.
Yeah. I was like, that was a whole thing I remember. It's a Hong Kong movie because we went, where has Hong Kong been? Like, they're making great stuff. I need more Hong Kong.
Wikipedia says it's Taiwanese.
Yes. They went back and forth. I remember it. This was a debate. Okay. No debate, though, that Best Wishes / Best Regards to All is on my list. If you haven't seen it, it's the bizarre Asian horror film that I love, but with such a unique story and just lots of weirdness. And my favorite thing is I love when I like a movie so much that I have to go read other takes on it. Like, if I like a movie, I go investigate, like, what do other people think? What was the meaning of this? And there were so many things I did not realize because I don't live in Japan.
Yep.
And people went into a lot more of the cultural impact of certain parts of this movie, and that made me love it more. I already really liked it as just, like, face value movie. It was so bizarre and kept me so intrigued. But then learning, like, oh, well, this is what that means to people living in Japan, that was just an amazing element. So Best Wishes to All or Best Regards to All. It used to have 2 completely separate IMDb pages under each name. I've seen posters under both names. So you'll find it under one of those names, hopefully, because they cannot decide what this is called. So yeah, love that movie.
Best Wishes to All. I'm glad you mentioned it in your number 5, Michelle, because that makes this really easy. It's my number 4.
Yeah.
I had this on my list at number 4. I will say again, this is one from early enough in the year that I don't right now remember a lot of details about it. I remember some visual things. I remember it very much being about how society often functions as, in a lot of ways, a leech culture, where this idea that the happiness and success of some people necessitates the suffering and failure of others. Really great themes in this one. It's one that's way up at the top of my list of things I need to go back and watch again as soon as I have a chance, because, like I said, I remember loving this. Don't recall a lot of the details, and I feel like that's going to allow me to really enjoy it a second time through. But yes, 5 Skull movie absolutely made my top 5.
There are 2 vivid moments in this for me where I went, what the fuck, while watching it by myself. And that's always a great thing. If I say that in a not a bad way of like, oh, I like this moment, as opposed to like, what is happening?
Can you describe them sort of vaguely?
One is a man walking down a street.
Yes! That's like the big one that sticks out in me. That sequence is so wild when you understand what's going on.
I love how it can be that vague. Just man walking down the street.
Yep.
And the other one is people who are too happy about a certain situation.
Yes.
Yep. Like, it's,
gut-wrenching movie. Really, really, really good. Yeah, that was my number 4. So what's your number 4 Shudder release?
I know my number 4 is not going to be on your list. There's no way. VHS Halloween. I like anthology films. We know this. But I think this is the first time I put a VHS on my top. I'm not going to go back and look and see if I'm a liar. But this made me so uncomfortable, and it helped me have a realization 2025 that there aren't a lot of things that scare me anymore when it comes to movies. Video games, on the other hand, oh, hell no. Those can... Anyway, but when it comes to movies, like, it's not going to scare me. It might make me think about things and make me tense for a moment, but, like, it doesn't linger with me. What happens now for me to really feel an intense feeling is that I feel very upset and uncomfortable with a situation, and I do like that this is kind of replacing fear for me, that I can feel uncomfortable instead of scared. And this actually helped me have a realization about the type of horror that I am looking forward to seeing more of, and that I have been kind of seeing, but just not appreciating to the extent that I should have been. So VHS Halloween, if you're not familiar, it's 5 separate segments, same as all the other VHS films. This one just gets way weirder. And there is one particular segment in this that is so dark in ways that I was not expecting from a VHS film.
Is that the one about the photographer? Yeah.
Yep. And I feel like they've been doing that in some of these VHSs lately, because the one about the son who knows about murders in one of the other ones was, I think that was the Scott Derrickson one that I love so much. And they've been adding like one really dark one to each one. There's also one from, I just forgot his name, but the Adult Swim Too Many Cooks guy.
I forget his name.
I forgot. It has a C in it. I remember that. Casey Cook? I don't remember, but his segment is my absolute favorite, and it is hilarious. So VHS Halloween was my number 4, and I was also surprised that it made the list. I really liked it.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Of course, it did not make my my top list. In fact, if memory serves, it wasn't even one of my favorite of the recent. Like, I've always been open about not being a big fan of the original VHS trilogy, and that I've enjoyed the series more since it became a Shudder co-production a few years ago, and they've had one now every year for 4 years. Wasn't my favorite so far. Certainly wasn't terrible, but anthologies are that same situation, like with like cooking shows, where, you know, they give you some things and you can make more than one option if you want to, but every new thing that you make is a new chance for the whole thing together to fall flat. There were parts of it that I really liked. I liked the frame story almost more than I liked everything else. I
feel like modern VHS, the frame story tends to be the thing that I'm most excited about, as opposed to in the past it was just glue to hold it together. It was just like a lady watching a bunch of tapes that she found in a weird house. And now it's, I want to know more about what they are doing. What are these scientists up to?
Yeah.
Okay,
all right, so my number 3 on my Shudder list is one that we got just right here at the end of the year, called Reflection in a Dead Diamond. I knew nothing about this movie going in. I was smitten. It's so fun, especially if you're a person like me who really has a fondness for like 1970s Eurotrash horror and just cinema in general. It's got a lot of it's such a stylish movie, while still, again, not becoming just overly devoted only to its style. There's a story here. There are interesting characters here. It does that thing where it's kind of vague and abstract, but not to a degree where it's very, very challenging to follow. I thought there was some great symbolism and suggestion and themes in this movie. I thought the performances were great. It's beautiful to look at. Just a fabulous film. Reflection in a Dead Diamond.
Okay. I am not surprised that's on your list. But
I'm also not surprised it's not on your list. So
yeah. It's see, I love doing the top 5 because I can't fully predict. I am confident we have the same number 1.
Yeah,
but
of course
I
we do.
thought my number 3 might match yours because I forgot Reflection in Dead Diamond.
What's your number 3, Michelle?
My number 3 is Grafted.
Okay.
Yeah, Grafted was one that we got earlier in the year as a Shudder release, and it is this girl whose father was doing, it's been a while since I've seen it, but her father was doing some research to be able to modify faces, modify skin, something along those lines, and she really wants to be popular and starts using that research to modify her own face, and things go wrong really quickly. I feel like body horror, ever since The Substance came out, body horror is an overused phrase. And I hear it with like things that are just typical, like, ew, that's gross now. But this one counts. This is an actual body horror movie.
Yeah. Disembowelment is not body horror. All right.
Yeah. It's
fingernails,
bad things happening to a body.
Fingernails
but it's not
being
morphing.
pulled out is not body horror. Body horror is fucking the thing. Right? Like, it's the substance. That's fucking body horror. The society.
Yes. So Grafted, I loved it. I also, just side note, I love that The Substance has triggered body horror films. Like, they're on a huge comeuppance, and I think it's because, not that they weren't being made, but that people weren't either getting recognition for it or also not making the movies that they wanted to make because they didn't think that people would want to watch them. And I feel like she set off something that is fantastic. I am loving this era right now of body horror films.
Here's what I will say about Grafted is if this had been a top 10 list, it definitely would have been on there, maybe like a 6 or a 7. It was definitely a contender. I believe it was a 4 skull for me, so it would have been up in that area. Real fucking solid movie, again, with some tremendous body horror.
I would like to guess your next one. Can I try to guess it?
Yeah, what do you think my number 2 is?
The Ugly Stepsister.
You are correct. It is The Ugly Stepsister. What a holy shit. Another movie that I was not prepared for. I didn't know shit about it going in, and holy fuck, this movie has some of the most intense, like real fucking cringe, turn away, I don't want to watch this violence and gore. It's got blood and guts. It's got pain, violence. It's got disgusting, vomit-inducing shit. This movie is intense as fuck on a number of levels. A very interesting reinterpretation, as you can tell from the name of the Cinderella story. Fuck, what a movie. I've seen it twice. I watched it, and then I watched it again maybe, I want to say about 3 or 4 months ago. But god damn it, I cannot get enough of that movie. And also beautifully designed. Right, it's this period piece with just these elaborate costumes and gorgeous sets. Fabulous movie. Was this also your number 2, Michelle?
Of course it was.
Yes!
Because this has all of that, but more importantly, it made me laugh so hard in between those things that were happening. And I watched this with Jenna. Again, no longer Jenna who never watches the movie Jenna. Now she is Jenna Effervescent Angel, who I adore so much, Jenna. Because now she does watch the movies. She watches them with me because we're besties. But she and I watched this, and we were quoting it for so long. Just randomly, woof, woof, all the time. Just because it's so, like, it has so many moments that... that made us laugh on top of that. Here's if nobody's trusting our opinion of this, which like you shouldn't, we're dummies, but it is so rare to see a horror movie get above like out of the 5 point something range on IMDb. This currently has a 7.0. Yeah. I think that, meaning that like that many people have watched it and on average gave it a high score. It is great. I loved it.
It's so also much. A movie that I have seen on, like I've looked at 5 or 6 other podcasts and publications and writers top films of the year. There are a couple of movies, but The Ugly Stepsister is one of those that is consistently on every single list. Every single one.
I have not watched a horror movie in 2026 yet. I've actually been like trying to figure out what is the one that I start the year with. It's important to me. I watched the Stranger Things finale, which does not count. I'm watching all of Has Been Hotel season 1 because I have to go watch season 2 afterwards. Those don't count. What is my kick off the year, sit down in my little theater downstairs with some popcorn and really just enjoy a movie? And it might be The Ugly Stepsister because I haven't seen it since May, and I feel like maybe I can trick my husband into watching it for the first time.
Oh, I bet you
Maybe
could.
I'll be like, can I put on a nice romantic movie for us to cuddle up to? Can we? It's like Wicked. It's Wicked, but Cinderella. Can we watch this wicked. Together? It's Wicked, but maybe I will. He won't listen to this episode before. He won't have a chance to know. Maybe that's what I do tonight is to ring in the new year. I want to have a little date night, and then The Ugly Stepsister. Again, my resolution in 2026 is to be a menace, and I feel like this is adding to that so much.
The Ugly Stepsister also has my overall, without question, single favorite like horror moment. It's a little bit of blood.
So that I know it.
The nose thing.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the most intense. Oh fuck! I didn't want to see that sort of violence gore thing. Well, no, but they do an.
No, that's what I mean. It's like a Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It's horrible.
Well, it's beautiful. It's beautifully edited the way they do it because they go right up to the line, and you will believe you saw something you didn't see. But holy shit, that made me want. Like I cringed so hard, I screamed. That was fucking rad.
The best thing is that that made me feel like, oh, well, that was bad because I had my imagination playing into it. And so I guess the rest of the movie isn't going to be that bad and explicit. And then the rest of the movie is like, psych. Yeah. Buckle up. We were just testing you and you failed.
God damn, that movie is. And then the thing with the eyelashes. Fuck!
Oh, I know. That's why I'm like, that's one of the most horrifying things I've ever seen in a movie. And it again, date night potentially.
I know what your number one is. You know what my number one is. It has to be. Let's do it. Let's just say it together on the count on a 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. Good Boy.
Dangerous Animals. I was trying to like think of a different movie. No, it's Good Boy. It's Good Boy. Of course it's Good Boy.
Tell us why,
because it's obvious. Okay. Good Boy. Also, this is my favorite episode that you and I have recorded. Yeah. Even though I am uncomfortable with emotions, like I think that if people want to listen to like just you putting it all out there, like the Good Boy episode is one of my favorites. I don't handle those kind of situations well, but I
thought you did just fine, Michelle.
Well, thank you, but I still think I should have eaten the sandwich while you were crying. I still think that's what I should have done.
It would have been something.
It would have been so funny, but if it didn't go over well, it might have been the end of our friendship. So there was too much risk. But in 2026, Michelle would eat the sandwich while watching you cry. But Good Boy... I'm trying to like calm everything
Pause
I have
for
to
just
say.
A minute. I would eat a sandwich while watching you cry is one of the funniest fucking things I've ever, like, just as a sentence on its own, even completely out of context, I would eat a sandwich while watching you cry.
Yep, 2026 Michelle would do it. She wouldn't care. She's hungry.
That's beautiful.
So Good Boy, I mean, it's impossible for somebody to be listening to this podcast and like horror enough to not know about Good Boy. But just in case, Good Boy, very briefly, all I knew about this movie is a horror story or a haunted house story told from the perspective of a dog. And I went, okay, so what does that mean? And this did storytelling in a way that I have never seen done before. It is from the perspective of a dog. It is not just camera at knee level or just staring at a dog all the time. It is how a dog sees the world. And I think a huge element is that humans, their bodies are there, their faces aren't, you know, and it does like let you relate so much more with the dog because they're the only face we see. And it, and also it is heartbreaking. I did, for those of you who need to know how tragic it is, and have said that they can't watch this because they can't do stuff with animals. That is my number one thing that I have a very hard time with because animals, they don't, like, they're completely innocent all the time. Even like a bear mauling a person didn't do it because they're evil. They did it because they were hungry or
stay the fuck out of the woods.
That's how nature
that's
works.
My home, yo.
Yeah, get out of my home. And so like just a thing with animals. So I did have to go, does the dog die, and prepare myself. And despite all of my reservations about this kind of film, and also I had heard somebody say like it's heartbreaking before I saw it, so I was just like, fuck, what does that mean? What does that mean? I was able to get through it, so hopefully that is something that a lot more people will take a chance in watching this. And I think the uncomfortable moments sell the story better than if this was the story from the human's perspective. I felt so much connection to this human and his dog, and the ending's meaning hit me so hard. And yet throughout all of that, like, the very little of my, like, the parts that were tragic to me were less a dog in distress and more the other things that were going on and the distressing situation around what was going on. So Good Boy is, it is without a doubt not even top 5 Shudder, not 5 horror. Good Boy is the best movie I saw of the year.
100%.
No contest. The guy who made this is his first full-length film. He's been teaching film for his entire life, and you can tell that he knew every technique to use, and this is a masterpiece. This is the best made movie of 2025, and I would have a hard time being dissuaded from that opinion. This movie, fantastic. I like anytime a movie shows me something different. It showed me something different, and it made me feel emotions, and I loved it.
It's one of those movies where when you hear the premise of it, like, at least for me, I was immediately curious but cautious, because it's also the kind of thing that could have just been complete gimmick and not worked at all. But look, this movie fucking broke me. Like, I wept openly in the theater, in public, twice when I saw this movie. It's so much more than I ever expected it to be. And then when you learn upon seeing it that they spent 4 years making this movie, shooting maybe an hour or two at a time, because while they were working with their family dog, who certainly responded to basic training commands, you know, like come here or stay or wait or that sort of thing, this is not a Hollywood-trained dog prepared to be out there all day working on sets, right? You can keep his focus for just a little while, and then eventually you got to cut it for the day. But that passion, that devotion, that belief in what they were doing, it's such a unique and original idea. It's done so incredibly successfully. It succeeds with creating genuinely spooky moments, but it is also crushingly emotional. And it's I like that you're right. It definitely has moments of distress for Indy the dog, the main character, but it's not distress from Indy being in danger. It's distress from just like relating to Indy's emotional situation, right? Like what he's going through and why he, what he understands and what he doesn't understand. It's an incredibly powerful movie about grief and loss, which, I mean, surprise, why do you think it resonated with me so much this year? But goddamn, yeah, not just my favorite non-Shudder, not just my favorite horror. This was my number one movie of the year. So fucking good.
I have heard, I haven't watched it since it got released on Shudder, but one of my favorite things from watching in the theater was that after the credits, very short credits, huge shout out to that. And like, that just means like, I think everybody should be in the credits and you should watch the credits and appreciate the people, even though I don't always do that. I usually look them up on IMDb, but JD gets after me because I don't watch the actual credits because I'm like, movie's done. But then I go to IMDb and I see like who did other stuff on other movies. But in the theater, after the credits rolled, there's a featurette about like them making this movie and the care that they took to make sure like Indy was just like, oh, I'm doing stuff for an hour, okay, and then going back to my everyday life. Like they wanted to make sure this was completely a positive or neutral experience because he's a dog. The Shudder release does not have that. They don't include it after the credits, and that to me is tragic. So if you haven't seen Good Boy yet, you have to go make sure you watch the featurette afterwards about the making of this movie. I also think it was the palate cleanser I needed before leaving the theater, because I cried harder at the featurette than anything else in the movie, just because I was like, man, this guy loves his dog so much. And I think love of any kind to that extent will break me. So yeah, if you haven't seen it, like, make sure to go find that afterwards. Yeah.
And of course, for all of these that we've talked about here in this section, except for, I think, VHS Halloween, did we do a full episode on VHS Halloween, or was it just in the review?
It was just in the review because this was going to be our last episode, and then we had to take a break.
Yeah, then my mom died.
So we did Good Boy instead, and then took a while off. Yeah.
So all of those movies we do have full episodes for. It would definitely be appreciative if you went back and checked those out. I will warn you, as Michelle said, the Good Boy episode gets real heavy. At least for me personally, I had I broke down and wept in that episode over the same thing that I broke down and wept over in the movie itself. It's this is and I also hasten to say, like, I don't expect everybody to have the same level of pure emotional connection to it, but I genuinely believe that even if I had not had that, I would have been fucking floored by this movie nevertheless.
Great movie.
Yep.
Great movie.
All right, then. So on to our non-Shudder releases. And am I going first here as well?
Go for it. Because I know... I think I know, like, maybe two of these of your list. I have no idea. I mean, I barely knew my own list, so sure. I'm very curious to see what yours is. So yeah, you go ahead and start, because the excitement is kind of killing me. I think the Xanax plus Red Bull combination is making me anxious again. I wonder how that works.
Who knows? Well, you see, you put these drugs in your system, and then they do drugs things, and then you feel better.
They're fighting. The Xanax and the taurine are fighting right now. They're going to war.
Number 5 on my non-Shudder releases. This is the most non-horror title on any of my lists, I think. Well, kind of similar to The Ice Tower. This is very, very, very horror adjacent. But it is The Life of Chuck from Mike Flanagan, based on Stephen King's story. More of some kind of dark, emotional, depressive, sort of bittersweet kind of things. A little bit of that weird Stephen King creepy bleeds into it, of course. But again, this is a movie that came to me in a year where I was dealing with a lot of issues of mortality and that sort of thing. I'd watched Tom Hiddleston read the goddamn phone book, as the cliche goes. Really excellent film, really emotionally well-grounded. And what I love about it is that I think a lot of people see it as this very sort of human kind of like, oh, that's a very bittersweet, but what's the word I'm looking for? Comforting sort of outlook and a way to perceive things. But also in the background, there's a bit of just like, wait a minute, there's something incredibly horrifying going on here, and it doesn't ignore that, right? It still acknowledges that there are horrible things like that, but also has this other layer of comfort to it. Life of Chuck, really enjoyed that movie. Mike Flanagan's a genius.
I did not have that one on my top 5. I really liked it, but did not make the cut. And again,
did it not make the cut, or did you just not consider it because you didn't see it as close enough to a horror movie?
You know, it might be a little bit of both. It is on my considering for horror thing. But then when I thought about it, I don't even think it would make my non-horror list at all. I liked it. Like, I think I gave it a 5. Like, I loved it. I thought it was great. It's just, that's how hard 2025 was for me. I struggled so much with figuring out what I wanted to do.
What was your number 5?
My number 5, if we were still doing, if we had the personalities that we did years ago, you would berate me for this choice. Number 5, Final Destination Bloodlines.
I might still berate you for this choice.
Well, you'll be wrong, because this is a great movie. Here's what. Okay, so I love the Final Destination films. They're very similar to Saw in that I know that they get wacky beyond belief and that they're not necessarily quote unquote good at all times, but I love them. I love the, oh my god, what is it called, the contraption where like a marble rolls down and then knocks over a candle?
Oh, a Rube Goldberg device.
I love the idea of a Rube Goldberg death. Like, yeah. And there's a lot of that in the first 2 where it's just like, how are these things? And then sometimes they just don't do that as much in the next ones. But Final Destination Bloodlines, not only is it a movie that I loved on its own, I also have kind of an emotional connection to it. And that's why it makes my top 5. Because my little brother, Brandon, we have really been connecting this year. Well, not this year. It's only 2026. But 2025, I feel like I got a lot closer to him because he came to 99% of the movies that I went to see in the theater. And I feel like this is a good example for me of a film that I don't think he'd seen any of the Final Destinations, but I'd give him like quick recap of like, here's what you need to know just in case it comes up. But this was his first Final Destination film, and it didn't require him to know anything else about the franchise. There were going to be things that were going to hit harder for me than him because I was like, oh, this is such a good throwback, and he doesn't know it, but that's fine. He doesn't have to. But this was a good one to like just share with my brother and bring together something I already love and get him introduced into it. So I think for me, like, part of it is I love this movie. It would have made the top 5 anyway because people die in horrible ways, and I love that. That's what I love about Final Destinations. I just want to see bad things happen to people in crazy ways, and this does that. But also, like, there's an element for there that, like, I just felt like this one, it makes me feel warm and fuzzy on top of all the death because I feel like I really have like gotten close to one of my brothers this year, and that's really nice for me.
No,
so
cool.
Fuck you for berating me. How dare you berate the friendship I'm developing with my adult siblings now that we have things to bond over? Are you mocking that, JD? Are you mocking my family relationships when you know I have such fucked up relations with some of my people and had such a terrible, traumatic childhood, and you're sitting here mocking me for that, JD? How dare you? Does this fit into the Menace Michelle thing? Is this helping? Is this working towards my resolution?
No, because that's exactly what I'm doing.
Oh, okay. Perfect. I'm just being honest. That's another of my
mocking
resolutions.
your use of things you personally enjoy to make connections with people in your life. Yes.
Exactly. Yeah, it is mock-worthy.
It's look, I'm not a fan of the franchise. I think they're absurd. If you remember, Michelle, my biggest problem with this movie though was just that it looks fucking terrible. Like 95% of everything on the screen is so obviously like it's so unseamless, the way all like the digital backgrounds and everything are like, it's like so much of this movie was just built in a computer. It's I couldn't
which is funny to me, because one of the things I love the most about Final Destination is their use of practical effects to get across a lot of their deaths. Like if you watch the behind the scenes, like it's fascinating the effort that they put in to avoid CGI, and yet their like background shots are like completely CGI.
Terrible. They're terrible.
But that's also like one of the iconic things that I love about it is like the deaths look so good, but everything around it is like, this is the weirdest landscape I've seen in my entire life. They're like, we did not have the budget to build this tower, but we do have the budget to like make this guy get sliced in half real weird. It's just very fun.
Yeah,
like the money they saved on by using practical effects couldn't go towards more of the environment. Yeah.
Just not for me.
Okay, JD, what is your number 4 of the non-Shudder releases?
My number 4 goes all the way back to the very first movie I saw this year. And we did one of our first episodes of the year on it. This is a movie that was all over festivals last year. Finally got a public release on DVD in January. It's called Black-Eyed Susan. Fantastic movie, at least in my opinion, with some real heavy, real dark themes that are themes that always resonate with me because of personal experience. We've talked about it before on the show, but just really bleak in that way that I thought was really compelling. Went to some very sort of dark places in ways that like a lot of other movies try to go to those places and they don't do it well enough to justify going there, or they go there to be exploitational, and I didn't think this movie was that way at all. It's real adult. So it's very the lady who plays the Susan character in the film was real open to some real awful things happening while she was, and it's just real intense, and I was really taken by that film, Black-Eyed Susan. It's real violent, real aggressive, not super gory, but the gory moments there are a little severe.
I can't get into what I disliked about it without spoilers.
Sure.
But I can say that I did not like it, and I actually felt the opposite, that it went edgy for the sake of being edgy at times. I remember us debating that in the episode.
You're wrong, and I'm right.
That's fair. I got my Bloodlines in here. You got your Black-Eyed Susan.
So what's your number 4?
Different things. My number 4, also a movie I know is not on your top 5, but I'm happy that you watched it, Else. I really debated whether Else was going to go on here, and screw it, Else is on my list. The story, interesting. Unlike you, I don't mind a story that tells me nothing and keeps me guessing afterwards. I don't want to know. Like, in the case of this movie, I have no idea what is going on. For those who aren't familiar, Else is a French film in which there's essentially like a plague or like a virus or something that makes you, for lack of better phrase, mold into your environment. Like, your body becomes what it's like. If you're sitting on a couch, you'll become the couch. If you're against a wall, you'll fade into the wall. And it's such a weird concept, and immediately the graphics, like, I loved them so much, and it made things feel so gross when they weren't gross. Just like this guy inspecting skin to see if there's any sign that this plague has affected. Like, the sounds made me uncomfortable. The magnifying made me uncomfortable. Him just looking at graphics of what might be happening to people. All of it made my skin crawl to the point that 20 minutes in, I went, I'm going to take a break and go get some water. And then I continued the movie because I was just like, so uncomfortable with the visuals from this film. The acting and script, I think, were good. They weren't great, but what carried this is the environment and what happens, and kind of the unknowingness of this situation, the meaning behind why it's named Else, what it transitions into being by the end, how this film actually comes to the conclusion. So interesting. I really liked it. And I think this one, again, is a good example of actual body horror. So we are in the era of body horror, and I'm loving it. As somebody who was never a big Cronenberg person, when he's like the father of body horror, like this new stuff, I'm all for it. Let's do it.
Yeah, I didn't hate this movie. I just, as you said, wasn't as taken with it as you were. I do agree with you. It is visually fantastic. It's a beautiful film. It's a well-made film. The body horror that does happen in it is really interesting and cool. What I like about it as body horror is because, like you said, it's bodies being absorbed into their environment. So it's not like that Color Out of Space, John Carpenter's The Thing, like weird alien creature body horror. You get these like weird textures of like a person's body turning into bricks, and so I thought it was things like that. I liked that. Another element of it that I enjoyed was the whole gimmick surrounding the trash chute as a communication system. I thought that was very, very interesting. And I also, I just, again, this is that movie where, and it's not, I always hasten to say it's not the movie's fault, but what it did is it created such a rich environment in the first half and the buildup of the movie, and such an interesting what the fuck is going on here, that it became too much for me, so that when the movie was over and a lot of those things weren't resolved, it was a letdown for me. Right? It got to that point where it's like, fuck, I gotta know what's happening here, and I never really got that, and so it didn't quite work for me. But yeah, it's a beautiful film.
I feel like any explanation they gave me would have not been satisfying, so I'd rather not have one.
Well, and that absolutely could have been a possibility. So,
yep.
Who knows? Maybe we're better off that it didn't go that way. Maybe I would have liked it even less. Who knows?
That's what I'm thinking. You'd be like, oh, that reveal was so stupid. I hate this movie. But if you don't know, you're just neutral on the movie, and that's better. Okay, right. On to your top three.
My number three. Yeah, my number three non-horror release is a movie that we had been waiting for. Or non-Shudder release, yes. Definitely a horror movie.
Yeah.
Well, it's a splatter movie at the very least. A movie we had been waiting for a while. That it looked like somehow for a while was possibly not going to be released theatrically at all, which how? But it finally did, and god damn it, it was just the most fun I had with a movie all year, and it's the new Toxic Avenger from Macon Blair. Such a fucking blast. It is uncontrolled splatter just to the nth, trauma degree, right? It is insane levels of splatter. It manages to be irreverent and do some things that I think a lot of people would say, oh, you can't even do that kind of thing anymore. And it's like, no, you can. You just have to do it right and do it in a way where you don't come off as a complete fucking asshole. And so I really, this movie took everything that I love about Trauma and just kind of whittled away everything that I personally don't really care for about it. And then there's this great story about a guy and his kid and the life they're having. Peter Dinklage is amazing in the movie. I had so much fun with this. I've still only seen it the one time in the theater, and I can't wait to get a chance to see it again. This was so goddamn fun. I can't believe it took 2 years for this movie to get released after it premiered in festivals. That's nuts.
I went back and forth so much about whether that was going to be top 5, and
Sure.
it didn't make the cut, but I agree.
Yeah, it was so fun.
Great movie. So fun. Hilarious.
Yeah.
It's I loved it too. I'm still possibly regretting not having it in my top 5. So it's
cool.
It's good. It's probably my number 6 spot. That is a great movie.
Where did you come, or what came in for you on number 3?
Somnium.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
See, I left this one out of my honorable mentions because this is one that hasn't had that general release yet, right? It's only been on festivals. This was a 4.5 for me, and it would have been in my honorable mentions, but it might, who knows what, because, I may see it again when it gets its release, and who knows, so... Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, for those unaware, we, mostly JD, put on Darkest Day of Horror Festival, showcasing some indie films, mostly shorts, but some feature length ones for each block. And Somnium was one that I saw while we were preparing for the festival, and I got really excited that it was actually going to be part of the festival, because I loved watching it at home, and I was excited to see it on a bigger screen. This is a weird sci-fi thing, and I think that sci-fi horror tends to be where I enjoy things the most, where it's just like, we don't have this technology, but what if we did? And it's essentially, you go into a virtual world to make the life that you want, keeping it super simple. And this girl wants to make it as an actress, and she's just working at one of these clinics as a way to make money while she's trying to fulfill her dreams. And JD and I had a very heated debate at the end of this movie, and I still don't think he's right. And we're not going to get into it right now, but just so you know, if you weren't there, we were arguing in the lobby to the point where we drew a crowd from the people who had just watched the movie. We were arguing about, and I still, and if you didn't see it, JD's wrong. That's all you need to know. Yeah,
Somnium and Chainsaws Were Singing, definitely the most talked about films at Darkest Day of Horror Film Festival earlier this year. Chainsaws Were Singing, by the way, is a hilarious horror comedy musical from Estonia. I believe it's available on VOD right now. You should check that out.
Somnium's great.
That's actually a movie that Chainsaws Were Singing that I saw for the first time last year because I got to screen it early. But now I'm kicking myself because that's a 2025 release. So I might have been, that might have made its way onto this list. Maybe. I didn't like it. I didn't like it more than Life of Chuck. So it might have been like Chainsaws Were Singing might have been a number 6 or something like that. But no, Somnium also probably would have made that list because it's a 4.5 skull. I just didn't add it in. I still believe you're wrong about the thing we argued about,
and you're wrong about me being wrong, but that's fine. You can
the problem with it is I only was able to see it the one time when we got the screener, and then I didn't get to see it in the theater while it was playing at the festival because I was running the festival. And so there's a thing about Stripes that I really need to go back and investigate, but it's a wonderful movie. It's like it's small sci-fi, right? It's not like spaceships and lasers and robots. It's like near sci-fi, like a tech that's maybe not too far off, or at least not too outside the realm of modern technology, and that's always an interesting place for sci-fi.
It's very similar to how much I love Black Mirror, and the reasons why I love it, because it's technology that can exist and what happens when it does. That kind of thing of this is a believable sci-fi that is attainable within our future if we want to go down that route. And it's
or
just
at least,
what if this thing
exists? At least seems plausible, right?
Exactly. If somebody really wanted to make this thing, it's possible that they could make this their lifelong achievement and people might not bat an eye about it. It's that kind of sci-fi. And that's always what gets under my skin the most, is like, ghosts not so much. Even though like I kind of believe in like some sort of like supernatural phenomenon that exists out there. We don't have to get into it because my definition of ghost is not the standard definition. We don't have to get into it, but I just feel very passionately about that too. But like ghosts and stuff don't really get to me. But technology and the advancements that we make, partially because I work in technology, I get very fascinated by this kind of stuff. And I think that's partially why Somnium worked so well, to just like stay with me.
Yeah, for sure. Really enjoyed it. It also does a thing, and I won't say, but it does that thing with faces towards the end. That's always real creepy for me personally. Anytime somebody does something like that, it really gets under my skin. That's a personal vibe for me. But no, excellent choice with Somnium. My number 2 then, curiously enough, is another adaptation of a Stephen King property, and it's The Long Walk. The Long Walk was a movie that, I'm real shaky on Stephen King adaptations, right? I never read a lot of Stephen King, so I don't have that heavy devotion to him as a writer. And everything is always kind of hit and miss, but this movie hit. You look at when it was produced and then when it was released and the socio-political climate, and you can definitely see that there were certain things that they were talking about that were already happening, but certain things that they were talking about as possible further developments that by the time the movie came out had become further developments. There's so much socio-political commentary in it. It's also just a great emotional story about some unfortunate characters who are stuck in a situation that is bullshit no matter what they choose. It's a bullshit choice because you're fucked no matter what you do. It's fucking savage on the gore and the like. There are some pain moments in this. There's a thing with a kid with a broken ankle that just, what the fuck? This is what a lot of it's social, it's horrific, it's a good fun story. And then Mark Hamill is an actor who still shows up to act and doesn't just show up to be himself embodying a role, right? I feel like if I hadn't known it was Mark Hamill going in, I think I would have figured it out by the end, but it would have taken me a while.
That's actually what happened to me. Partway through, I went, oh, that's Mark Hamill. Because he's also got glasses. Like, you can't see his face. And it did take me a little bit to be like, duh, but I know Mark Hamill. That's how
it was with his turn for me in Flanagan's Fall of the House of Usher series. I was halfway through that series before it hit me who that was. So like, oh shit, it's fucking Luke Skywalker. But
the Joker.
Yeah. So The Long Walk was my number 2. Fantastic movie. There were a couple of moments where I was like, oh man, I think I know where this is going, and if it goes there, I'm really not going to like it. And then it didn't go there and went places that I hadn't considered and were so much better. What's your number 2, Michelle? Or what were your thoughts on The Long Walk before we go on, I suppose?
You've put me in an awkward spot, JD.
Why?
Because do I respond and talk about The Long Walk a little bit more now, or do I wait until I reveal it's my number 1?
Are you serious? This is interesting.
The Long Walk is my number 1.
So your number 2 is Sinners.
No.
What?
Yeah, I know. I knew you were going to be really mad at me about my top 5.
Oh,
anyway,
so what's your number
my
2?
response. Well, hang on. The Long Walk. I got to talk about it first a little bit. Because The Long Walk, it does go places.
No, hold this.
It goes for a long walk.
Okay, we know it's your number 1, but let's hold that for let's just do your number 2.
Okay. So my number 2 is Together.
I just gave away that my number 1 is Sinners, so
Yeah, good point. Spoilers. Number 2 was Together. I laughed a lot. The effects were great. There were still moments that made me legitimately scared. There were a couple things that happened in that movie that I won't get into now, but they made me go like, oh shit. Oh no, I hadn't thought about that before. I loved Together a whole bunch. It's there's a reason that we chose that as our first episode of Don't Make Me Watch That, because after watching it, I was so excited to tell Sarah and Frisky every single element of that movie, because even talking about the movie makes me very excited. I loved Together. It's exactly what you would expect. For those unaware, Together is a movie about a couple who is having some problems in their relationship, and they find a way to come together about it. And so just watch the trailer, because this is one where the trailer does get you very hype without actually telling you what's going on. It's real good. It's a real good movie. I really liked it.
This is where I have to say, I can't say for sure whether Together would have made my top list, because this is one of the 2025 releases that I still haven't had a chance to see. I haven't seen Together. A couple others that I do want to mention that I haven't had a chance to see. I haven't seen the new David Cronenberg's The Shrouds.
You'll be disappointed.
Shut up. I haven't seen She Loved Blossoms More, which counts because it's been available on VOD for a while. Basically, if it's only been available on VOD, I haven't seen it yet, because I haven't seen a lot of VOD because I'm poor. But no, so I have to just take your word for it on that. It's very possible Together would have made my crazy body horror again. But so I can't say either way on that one.
I truly 100% think that if you had seen Together, it would be on your list. I think it would have shot up there.
I'm
excited for you to see it later. You don't have Hulu, right?
Well, not at the moment, no.
Okay. When you do get Hulu, it is on Hulu.
Oh, is it on Hulu now?
Yep. I could not remember because I went to give it another watch.
Yeah, last time I checked, it was still only on VOD, but that's all right.
Yep. I've rewatched it. It's
really good. Then, my number one was, as I mentioned, Michael B. Jordan in Sinners, the Ryan Coogler film, a movie that, the movie itself is incredibly well made. I didn't know, I knew Michael B. Jordan was the star of this movie. I did not, going in, that he plays two characters that are on screen together all the time. So just as an achievement, I was really impressed by that. It's a gorgeous movie to look at. It's a great story. Look, the movie's 2.5 hours long, and I still really fucking loved it. That's rare. I think the last time that happened was The Substance. It's such a unique play and new spin on a vampire story, which is so hard to get these days because there's been so many vampire stories, but vampire as sort of metaphor in a racial context really played well here. The entire cast is great. You can't talk about this movie without talking about the dance hall sequence that it sort of peaks with in the middle of the film, which will go down as one of the most incredible sequences of cinema I've ever seen in my entire life. It's absolutely brilliant. The movie is creepy and violent when it needs to be. It's quiet and introspective when it needs to be. It has some very, very interesting characters. I forget the character's name, but the lead vampire is just fantastic. I sat just overwhelmed by the movie. It's a movie, another one that I need to see at least a couple more times, because I'm absolutely certain there are layers of this that I still haven't unpacked. But god damn it, what a fucking movie. And I can't say enough good things about it. Sinners is on both Prime and HBO. It is, yes. Yeah, here's the problem, Michelle, is there's so much shit that I want to see now.
Yeah, I'm just letting you know.
Once I've seen something, I have to be like, Do I want to go back and watch something I've already seen again, or do I want to watch something I've never seen before? And
but it is a new year. Do you want to choose a movie that you know deserves that #1 watch spot for the year? Because The Ugly Stepsister, I think, will be mine. And Sinners could be a real good one to start the year off with.
You may be right.
I'm usually right. Sinners, I need to give a disclaimer, and I knew Sinners was going to be on your list. It's #1 for a lot of people.
Sure.
Very strong first half, but I found myself caring less when it was vampires. And honestly, that's what I cared so much about these characters that I did not care about the horror elements. When they happened, then it took me out a little bit. I think the guy who plays a lead vampire, great. I don't want to say who becomes vampires and who doesn't,
sure.
But I like them as vampires, and I thought all of that was fine. But I cared so much more about the actual dance hall and these brothers. And that's what sold me on it. And that's why it didn't make my #1 is, oddly enough, when it became a horror film, I cared less.
And that's
strange.
for the people that it didn't quite work with, that's a pretty common thing, right? Mm-hmm. Is the horror elements of it and the movie as a horror movie didn't quite connect with them. And I get that. That's a big part of why I want to go back and watch it again, because I do think there are layers of themes in the vampire part of this that I didn't fully grasp the first time around. Because I'll be honest,
I know.
I feel like there's an anti-Christian underpinning in the vampires that I didn't fully register. That I want to go back and explore. I love. But that's, like I said, that's from the people I've talked to. That's the place where it's like, it's not a bad movie. I just barely consider it as a horror film.
And it's also very funny because if you had told me there was a drama movie, not horror at all, it was just a drama movie about two guys, both played by Michael B. Jordan, and they're starting a dance hall in the South, I would have no interest in. I don't usually like drama films, but this starts so strong that I loved everything until it became like, oh no, it's us against vampires now. And then I was like, no, I want to know more about but still, it's not even like that became a bad movie. It was just things that made it the #1 spot all happened in the first half for me, and then it fell off a little bit. And then it comes back and forth. The ending is fantastic too. I don't have massive complaints. I'm just the stuff I loved so much was not even the horror part.
And
which is bizarre.
I feel sort of I think a lot of people have argued you could have done this same movie and just removed the fact that these people are vampires and just made them bad guys, and it probably still would have. To me, the vampire element plays into the incredibly religious aspect of it, and this idea of powers beyond man and the evils of the world that you are going out into, and it's not just metaphor evil, it's literal evil. No, I definitely can understand how people might have disconnected at that point, for sure.
Yeah, and it's bizarre. I do think there is a little bit of Godzilla -1 effect here, where it was so hype for me that then it fell flat. I do think it was, I watched it too late to really love it like so many other, and that's a disappointment. I knew people talked about one scene that was the best scene of any movie of the entire year, which I agree with, but I went into this movie knowing that that kind of thing existed, and then the rest of the movie was just a very good movie. That scene, I think honestly that's when it started to go downhill for me, because that was so good.
Yeah, I will say that it's because of how incredible that dance hall sequence is, the movie does peak about midway through.
Exactly.
It's that curse of that one, even though the entire movie is great, that one sequence is it's transcendent, right? Like, that's a terribly pretentious word, but it's like that sequence is the reason movies exist. Like, it is a pure demonstration of just unrefined cinematic art and what you can do with that, and what you can do especially now that, like, they do things in that scene that you never would have been able to do in a lot of previous eras. But yeah, it definitely, that scene is so good that it does put a little bit of a shadow on the rest of the movie at times. But I just also I can't look. It's the most base thing in the world, but I think it's worth noting is I can't talk about this movie without talking about how also there is a moment in this where, with a single line, Haley Atwell delivers the most insanely sexually stimulating performance I've ever seen from a woman ever in a film. It's one line, and I was fucking... and it's not just the line, it's the delivery. Holy shit. I was just like, oh my God, I gotta stay in this seat for a little while. Jesus Christ. She's great in that movie, Michael B. Jordan. The whole cast is great, but yeah, what a fucking film.
Jenna and I use a certain word now because of this movie, because it is so funny to us. We're like, we gotta bring that back. What do you mean this is a word we can use? Oh yeah, not like the N word or anything. About. I realize, like,
no, I obviously.
I should probably. I was like, wait a minute.
What was the word, Michelle? Just to clear the air.
Coos. Coos is so funny to describe a woman's genitalia. We use that word all the time. Not all the time. It's not like we're like at Applebee's just being like, hey, can I get a margarita? And
look, I feel at this point in human history, women have suffered the indignity of having insults thrown at their genitalia for so long that if they want to take back some of those terms, they're more than welcome to do that.
It's just fun to say, and
it's a
so
funny word. I really loved. Yeah. I was just frankly kind of blown away that they got away with it. But back in the Avengers forever ago, there's that moment where Loki calls that one lady a mewling quim, and I was just like, "What the fuck? How'd they get away?" I mean, in a PG-13 movie, give me a break.
I love old timey.
I think it probably just obscure enough that that people were like, not a lot. Most people aren't even going to know what that means. So,
I mean, they're doing Shakespeare in high school plays, and
that's fair.
That is so vulgar sometimes.
Yeah,
and they just have no idea.
All right, well, Michelle, your number one is The Long Walk. Give us some thoughts that you have on The Long Walk.
I knew very little going into it, which is a common theme with these movies because I do try to know very little. But the trailers kept playing every time that I went to a movie. And I was like, they're just on a long walk. And the one who walks the longest wins. And I do like those types of movies. I was not surprised when I left the theater, looked up the writer, director, or both, I do not recall, and found out that he did things like The Hunger Games, where that's my kind of film. I like when one of us can live and everyone else has to die, and like Battle Royale style.
You meant the screenwriter. For a minute, I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Stephen King didn't write The Hunger Games?
No, the screenwriter. Or maybe the director. I truly do not remember which one. But either way, like, I looked at his IMDb history and went, oh, yeah, you just make these dystopian, feel-sad movies, and I like those. But this one really hit me hard. I felt such an intense... Like, I hated that I knew these characters were going to die. They made these such real characters, and even the ones that you are supposed to dislike have so much sympathy. And there are some things, like the ways that they die were so distressing to me. And I felt like them, where watching them walk, I was like, please just keep walking. Please just keep walking. Make this movie as long as it has to be. I do not want to see anything bad happen. And then it happens. And I felt just as, I probably didn't feel just as upset as they did. But as an audience member, I felt pretty darn upset about it. And then, of course, there is an added meaning behind it, which I kind of don't want to get into because I feel like the characters talking about it in the movie, their explanation's better than I would do. And if you haven't seen it and don't know what they think about their circumstance, you should just have them explain it to you. But this hit me so hard. And it's also, on top of that, this emotional connection, it does not hold back in how brutal they are in these deaths. And I don't mean that in like I love seeing gore and violence way, but they really, like, they make it so that you cringe so hard when somebody goes down for multiple reasons, because not only do you feel bad about them dying, but you're also like, holy shit, what a way to go. And this movie, the structure of it is that when you stop walking or fall below a certain speed, they do a count. And that count, because like if you're not up after the third count, you're going to get shot. That is simple concept. You are too slow, you're going to get shot. And that countdown, every time it happens, is so stressful. And I just like, I was holding my breath at certain parts of it. And then the ending was very satisfying, where I did not expect that either. I was like, there's no way they're going to end this in a way that I feel content. And obviously I was very upset by the ending, but it felt like a solid story. It didn't feel like any loose ends or that I wanted something different to happen. The Long Walk, I said for a while this year, was my favorite movie of the year. And then Good Boy just showed up and I went, oh, never mind. Sorry, Long Walk, you were real good. We had a good time together, but you can fall below the speed limit and die now because Good Boy's around. But The Long Walk, it emotionally devastated me. And I'm so glad that I wound up watching it, because I just went like, man, I'm going to go to the theater tonight and this is playing. Let's go see it. And then I loved it so much. Yeah,
it's a really great movie. I think if you get me on the right day, I might put it in the number 1 spot and Sinners at number 2. We are lucky that we got so many great movies this year, but
it was so hard. Yeah, this was a hard year to narrow down.
I love, like you mentioned, with the they do really. I'm just gonna be straight here. There are a lot of horror movies where the gore happens because that's what happens in horror movies, right? The deaths of characters play into the story, but the nature of the deaths and the way the deaths are presented isn't necessarily a thematic thing. In The Long Walk, there's thematic cohesion. Like, they start out in the background and kind of blurry, and still, like, sudden and frightening, but they be like the horror elements become more and more severe and more right in front of you as the movie goes on. And then, like, there's this moment where they start to fade again sometimes. The way it uses those moments in such an interesting thematic way that I thought was really well handled. But probably my favorite thing about the movie. And then, like you said, these... I don't think there's a single person in this who is an actor that anybody really knows, and every one of those boys gave a fucking incredible performance. This is definitive ensemble cast shit. Really, really, really good.
There's also really good behind the scenes footage that I enjoyed watching. I've seen many videos now just because every time it pops up as a recommendation on my YouTube, I watch it. That's just how I keep stumbling across them and being like, yeah, another behind the scenes Long Walk, let's go. Another interview, yeah, let's go. And I loved hearing the actors talk about how they made certain decisions in this. There were things within the characters that obviously, like, as an actor, if you're doing a good job, you generally will come up with this whole story that's never revealed to anybody else, but you know it, and it's going to shape your performance. And I loved hearing the logic of that and how they felt about these situations and how they each had different perspectives as characters on what was going on and the inner thought process. And there's just a lot to love about it. Plus, two of my favorite people, who I won't say, but two of my favorite walkers are British. And so when I learned that, I went, nice. I like that. I like that they're British. Good job being British. So that was an added bonus for me. I like British people. So I was like,
congratulations on your ethnicity.
Yeah, I love that you're British.
You have a lovely heritage, sir.
Yes, you guys make some good food. I like bland food, and it's real delicious.
Bangers and mash isn't bland. Shepherd's pie isn't bland if you do it right.
I mean, it's potatoes and vegetables. Like, it's kind of bland, but it's like one of my favorite things. I love shepherd's pie.
Shepherd's pie is definitive comfort food.
Oh, delicious.
It's the British tater tot hot dish.
Exactly. I love it. I want to make some tater tot hot dish now.
Fuck, so do I.
Watch that while I'm watching The Ugly Stepsister.
Do you think it's worthwhile to have cream of mushroom soup delivered from the grocery store so that I can make tater tot hot dish tonight?
I don't make mine with cream of mushroom soup. Switch it
up.
What
do you use?
Alfredo sauce. Like from the pasta aisle.
Okay.
You have no idea how much it changes your hot dish. Anybody out there listening who makes hot dish, Alfredo, like, I will not use cream of mushroom soup ever again. Alfredo sauce.
Interesting. Do you put cheese on your tater tot hot dish?
Yep. Everything else the
That's
exact
so
same
weird.
way. But the Alfredo sauce,
I went my whole life without putting cheese on tater tot hot dish. I don't know how I missed it, but
no.
Anyway, we don't need to talk about tater tot hot dish.
Then you especially need Alfredo sauce as your base if you weren't
that.
putting cheese on it.
You
especially need the Alfredo. Now I want to go. Yeah, I'm gonna DoorDash some tater tot hot dish.
Well, we're starting to drift off into, like, it's the end of the episode. Let's just ramble. But I almost forgot. We still have the Michelle Awards we need to talk about.
Yeah. Yep. And they're not going to be super lengthy.
Do we want to do a quick recap of our lists, or do we think people just listen to the whole episode so they know?
Let's just do a recap, so the sake of them having it, in case they get out a pen and paper, like
and
an
they
old-timey lady.
We could probably just put it in the episode description, couldn't we?
I mean, we could do that too, but, like, what if that's too much effort for them to read the episode description?
Okay, fair enough. So my Shudder list, number 5 was The Rule of Jenny Penn. Number 4, Best Wishes to All. Number 3, Reflections in a Dead Diamond. Number 2, The Ugly Stepsister. And number 1, Good Boy. Michelle, your top 5 Shudders.
My top 5 Shudder, Best Regards to All / Best Wishes to All. Number 4, VHS Halloween. 3, Grafted. 2, The Ugly Stepsister. And 1, Good Boy. Who's such a good boy?
I do find it interesting that I think this might be the first time that our lists have been that close and similar, not just because we have 3 of the same titles, but also our number 1 and our number 2 are the same in that order.
Yeah, that never happens.
Yeah,
that's how good those are.
Yeah. And then my non-Shudder top 5, number 5, The Life of Chuck. Number 4, Black Eyed Susan. Number 3, The Toxic Avenger. Number 2, The Long Walk. And number 1, I'm a Basic Bitch. It was Sinners.
And this is less surprising that we are so different on these. So, number 5, Final Destination Bloodlines. Number 4, Else. 3, Somnium. 2, Together. And 1, The Long Walk.
Only one movie in common on the list, and in slightly different places. And not even in the
same spot. Yeah.
Right. Well, close, though. It's a 1-2 swap.
I know,
there. That's
but
not too bad.
It's still different. It's still different.
All right, then. I want to hear about the Michelle Awards, because I came in and I was like, I just got this short little list of honorable mentions that I want to throw out there real quick. And Michelle's just like, oh, yeah, my honorable mentions log is like 17,000 movies long. I'm going to have to talk for another hour and a half, so...
Yeah, it's 13 movies just of the horror genre that would be honorable
and these
mentions.
Are more like titles that have like specific things that you want to call out, right?
Well, I'm just saying, like, when I see a movie, I put it in my Google Doc. of this is a horror movie or this is a non-horror movie, and these are my favorites. I go like, I really like that movie, put it in the list, so that when the end of the year comes around, I go through and I look at my list. And so my list of top non-Shudder movies was 18 that I had to narrow down to 5. So throughout the year,
Jesus.
I saw 18 horror movies that I then had to whittle down because I was like, I like this so much, I put it on the list. And then that's not even counting, like, I keep a personal list of non-horror movies that would go on there just because I'm curious to know, like, what was the best of the best in that category. So because there were so many, I didn't want to just rattle off 13 horror movies. And so I have made some honorable mentions, but as little, like, specific things, including both horror and non-horror, because there's so many things that I want to talk about, but this is a quick way to get them out. So first off, just because it's me, I did also add a category of best documentary, which we'll start with, because to me, what fucks me up the most is a good documentary. I find real life so much scarier than anything I see in fiction. Documentaries get under my skin more than anything. So these were the 6 that wrecked me this year. Katrina, Come Hell and High Water, about the Katrina hurricane. And shortly after watching that, I went to New Orleans. And I didn't even mean to do that. It was a show that popped up on my Netflix, and then I watched it and then went, oh yeah, I'm going to be there. So then also being there and seeing where things happen, it was unbelievably shocking to me. Unknown Number, The High School Catfish, Jaws at 50, the definitive inside story, Terror Bites, about horror video games. I love that one. That might be my number 1 spot. Implosion, the Titanic sub disaster, because it is so funny that this guy thought this was going to be so good that he hired a guy to do a documentary about it. And then the guy was like, I don't feel comfortable continuing to film because this seems unsafe. So then we have authentic documentary footage of what went wrong. The hubris of man. And then the Twister...
Oh, I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but remember when we had that ridiculous argument about whether or not everyone knew what was going on or didn't know what was going on, or whatever that stupid argument was about?
Yeah, when Captain Pedantic came out, and I was like, we're saying the same thing, but disagreeing about it. And then my last one, the Twister Caught in the Storm, about the Joplin tornado. I didn't realize that people could survive some things that happen in this documentary. Tornadoes, we live in an area where tornado sirens are very common. Tornadoes are kind of always on the outskirts of the city. They have never struck inside, well, not since like 50 years ago when we had the F5, but in modern day, like, it's rare that it actually reaches a place where it's at my house, but like, it's a common thing. So tornadoes scare the fuck out of me, and that documentary made me very upset. So just in case other people are like me and they get very upset, those are my documentaries that will ruin your life, except for Terror Bites, because you know, it's video games. I really like video games. I like them a bunch.
I can't help but notice that Dinner with Leatherface was not on your documentaries list, Michelle.
That's an active choice. That's an active choice. I looked at the list. This is what it is. It is what it is, JD. Like different things.
What else do you want to talk about?
Okay, so next is best performance. Throughout the year, I just put down the things that like had fantastic performances. K-pop Demon Hunters, Arden Cho, if I'm gonna pick one, the girl who voices Rumi, but that entire movie, there is a reason people are losing their minds about K-pop Demon Hunters. And if you haven't seen it, you don't understand. Go watch it. I listen to Golden as my alarm song because it gets me so hype. The band behind the K-pop Demon Hunters, the celebrities in the movie, Hunter X, I forgot what their real band is called now, but they are the first female band to make the Billboard Top 100 since Destiny's Child. They are great for a reason. Wonderful movie, and also just great message to young girls and children in general, but particularly girls, about self-acceptance and friendship. K-pop Demon Hunters, people lost their mind for a reason. Mickey 17, Robert Pattinson, this man is so versatile. How does he do it? Sinners, of course, Michael B. Jordan. Not only was he good as one person, he was good as 2 of them. Weapons, Julia Garner, fantastic performance. Opus, Ayoade Ayo Edebiri, so good. Her performance in particular. Toxic Avenger, of course, Peter Dinklage giving a very serious take on Toxie, which I loved. And I completely disagree that a dog should be entered into the Academy Awards, but because this is my category, I'm giving Indy from Good Boy a spot here. But I also, when people are petitioning to give Indy awards, I disagree, because Indy doesn't know he's acting. As his owner, the movie maker, has stated, he does not deserve an award, but he is a really good boy. Like, let him go to the red carpet and get pats, you know?
He's a good boy,
yeah. And then Best Kill, which will be very vague, so that if you know, you know, but if you don't know, I'm not ruining it. Best Kills, Grafted, the opening scene. Heart Eyes, Proposal Murder. The Monkey Horse Stampede. Final Destination Bloodlines, MRI. The Long Walk, The Hill. Until Dawn, Water Explosion. And then Novocaine, I just put question marks because that movie had my favorite kills of the entire year, and there were too many to choose. Novocaine, starring Jack Quaid, he can't feel pain, so you can imagine that guy trying to hunt down people who stole his girlfriend and the kind of shenanigans he's going to be up to, especially when he's not even like a special agent. He's just a guy who works at a bank but has no pain, so he's a good foe to these people. Great fucking movie. I wish it was horror, because that would be on my top 5 horror movies, but it's strictly action and I love it. Best what the fuck moments. Grafted, ending, beginning, all of it. Bone Lake, that first scene that was totally nuts.
Did you see Bone Lake in the theater?
No, I actually just watched it video on demand.
I haven't seen that one yet either, but I'm curious.
Yep, Bone Lake. That first scene, that was totally nuts. VHS Halloween, Coochie Coochie Coo. Bring Her Back, Nom Nom Nom. 20 years later, Dick Zombie. And Together, the bathroom scene.
Okay.
Then, best horror comedy, because there were so many I wanted to include in my top 5, but I just couldn't. The Toxic Avenger, of course. Heart Eyes, The Monkey, The Parenting, and Borderline. And then 2 very small awards. So Bad It's Good, War of the Worlds. So Bad It's Bad, A Breed Apart. It's Jurassic Park, but with dogs, and they still, like, I don't like it at all.
It's what?
It's Jurassic Park, but with dogs. What if a bunch of influencers go to an island that has dogs, and the dogs get unleashed? Pun. And now are attacking the people on this isolated influencer island. I think a big part of what I hated about it is that it stars these people playing influencers, so they're all unlikable. But on top of that, the dogs are 99% CGI, and I am convinced they had no idea what dogs look like to make these dogs. They just took like a general memory. It would be like if I was trying to draw a detailed dog, what would happen? And then they just did that as CGI. It's also possible this is really bad AI at that point, because it does not look like a person who knew how to make dogs made this movie. So I highly recommend checking that one out on Tubi, because it's not even like a so bad it's good. It's so bad it's bad and confusing, because how do you do that to me? But so bad it's good, man, I've watched War of the Worlds 3 times. That is a hilarious disaster. And I feel comfortable saying that because it is just a commercial for Amazon, and fuck Amazon. So I'm okay bullying Ice Cube for doing this movie. This is not the Ice Cube I know. This is tepid room temperature water. This was just a real bummer. I think you should see it. Because no. I finally had to watch it because I was seeing so many clips that were like, no, there's no way. This is like somebody made a spoof and did this clip. This is not a clip from the movie, right? And nope. Like, Amazon Prime delivery saves the day at one point, where they're like, we have drones now and we can use them. Like, it's an Amazon commercial, but done as War of the Worlds. And I don't know who blackmailed Ice Cube to do this movie, but I highly recommend. This is like Moonfall if Moonfall wasn't good, and Moonfall is not good, but it's really fun. And this is what that movie is, in a way that, like, it's baffling to the mind, and I highly recommend that people watch it. Because it's just like, how does this exist? How? I still don't know, but I'm gonna watch it again. I'm gonna watch it another time. Funny. Yeah, so those are my awards, because it covered a lot of movies that I wanted to put in my list. But at least doing best performances and best kills and best what the fuck, that covers a lot of them.
For sure.
So, yeah. Best of 2025.
Oh, there. You know what? There is one other movie that I would like to talk about as.
No.
I will.
No.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Fine. Just as a biggest surprise of the year for me, and this isn't a new movie. This is just the thing I saw that I wanted to talk about. It's called 100 Tears. This was the biggest like past title discovery of the year for me. I went on an adventure this year, you guys, right? My goal was to watch 150 horror and horror adjacent movies that I had never seen before. And that was obviously going to include new releases, because how could I have seen them? But I also went back and watched a lot of stuff this year on purpose that I had never seen before. I stumbled on this movie by accident, just completely random browsing through Tubi one day. It's called 100 Tears. It's by a fellow named Marcus Koch, or maybe Koch. I'm not sure, Koch. He worked on the special effects for some notorious movies like American Guinea Pig, Bouquet of Guts and Gore, and a couple of other things. The movie is called 100 Tears. And I saw it. First of all, it's fucking amazing. It was a 5-skull movie for me. But if you have not seen this movie, I invite you to see it as soon as possible. And then everybody needs to start writing letters and emails and tweets and everything else to Damien Leone and telling him that he owes Marcus Koch an apology and probably owes him a check. Because this movie predates Terrifier, and Terrifier lifts just about everything from this movie. And I'm not the biggest fan of any of the one thing the Terrifier movies didn't lift from this movie is the story. But fuck, this movie was the biggest surprise of 2025 for me, whether it was a new movie or an old movie, because it's not the kind of thing I expected to like. It's real severe violence, real heavy gore.
NC-17 rating.
Oh yeah, like this is. I mean, it's Terrifier, right? It's Terrifier level stuff. But it's got the clown in the black and white costume who's got a partner who's a little girl who's also in a weird costume. It's super insane, violent kills. The clown basically never speaks. It's like, man, come on! And it's wild to me that people don't know this movie because it's so fucking good. That might be the one that I start the year off with. I might go back and watch 100 Tears again.
I'm going to count the number of tears, and if there aren't at least 100, then Damien Leone owes me a paycheck. I don't know how, but that's how it's going to work.
Yeah, I just wanted to take a moment to mention that, because I was looking at my top rated movies of the year from that Letterboxd list of everything I've seen. And every time I see that movie, I'm furious. Millions of dollars to Terrifier.
It for so long, and I still haven't.
Yeah. Millions of dollars the Terrifier franchise has made. Millions. And now here's the thing. If memory serves, the way this breaks down is... I think maybe the initial Terrifier short, in which, or the short that where Art, the ninth circle or something like that, where Art just appears briefly. I believe that predates 100 Tears maybe by just a few months, or is in the very near vicinity. But as soon as Art expands and becomes this character, it's lifting everything, right? It's insane, and I may even just be remembering that wrong. It may be that this predates the short film as well, but fuck yeah, that's exactly what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna throw that fucking movie on here as soon as we're done and I get this posted.
I bet it's a whole situation like what happened in Bring It On, where the cheerleading teams hired a choreographer to do their choreography instead of doing it themselves. And then they got to the cheer competition and realized that a completely different team was doing the exact same choreography right before they went on. And it was very embarrassing for them because it was revealed that this guy was just teaching choreography to different teams. And then they went against each other, and that, I think, disqualified them from the tournament because they had to do their own choreography, and they didn't. I bet it's one of those situations, but, with a murderous clown instead.
I suppose that's possible, yeah.
Yeah. They hired the same cheer choreographer. And
look, I did stand-up comedy for 12 years. I know cross-thought happens, right? Cross-thought happens. This is a level of detail and specificity that, I don't know. But anyway, that's our favorite films of 2025. What a fucking year it was, huh, Michelle?
This was the hardest year to narrow it down, and I still don't feel confident about my top 5. Like, tomorrow I would probably put the Toxic Avenger in there. Yeah, I know The Long Walk Together, those two for sure. Good Boy, The Ugly Stepsister, for sure. I'm not convinced that the order of the rest is even correct. But that's how I put them down, because that's how I felt 2 hours ago.
I gotcha. Thanks for... So we got another year kicked off. We had a solid 2025, 2026 looking to be pretty good. Tons of great movies coming out this year. Coming up this month, if you want to keep listening, we're going to be doing episodes. This coming Monday, we'll have an episode about a movie called Marshmallow that is available right now on Shudder. Following Monday the 12th, we're going to talk about a movie that's also available right now on Shudder called A Desert. Monday the 19th, we'll talk about a movie called Beast of War, which I'm told is a combination war and shark movie. And that makes me very cautious, but optimistic. Could be a good time. And then, of course, we're going to wrap up the month. Monday the 26th, we're going to be talking about the new Addams Family film, Mother of Flies. One of my most hotly anticipated movies of the year. And it hits right at the end of January. I can't wait.
What if Mother of Flies and Beast of War have a baby, and it's the Mother Beast of War Flies?
That works way too fucking well as a title.
Yeah, it does.
The Mother Beast really well. Of War Flies. Sounds like a death metal song is what it sounds like. The Mother Beast of War Flies.
Wait, somebody tell the Addams Family. They're going to laugh, at least politely, and pretend that they think it's funny. Because they're very nice people. Okay.
Oh, so that's what we got coming up for January. I got to
go figure out what my horror movie is going to be. The first one to kick off tonight. I haven't decided. Even throughout this discussion, now I have more I want to do.
I'm gonna go have something to eat. I'm gonna play with my dog for a little while. That's not a metaphor, guys. I actually have a dog. If you're just tuning in for the first time, his name's Riley. He's right over there. He's sleeping right now. And then I'm gonna watch 100 Tears again. And then I think I'm gonna try. I did when I first saw it. I tried to reach out to Marcus Koch on Facebook and ask him about his thoughts on the whole thing, but we're not friends on Facebook, and so it probably just went to his anonymous message requests and never even saw it came through. But then he posted about it on this horror page that I follow, and I commented on it, and he acknowledged my comments, so I don't know. Maybe I'll be able to meet and talk to the guy a little bit. It does incredible special effects. I need to watch that movie. I need to stop babbling. I probably shouldn't have smoked that reefer while we were recording. I just called it reefer. That's a terrible sign. Michelle, help.
I am going to debate making tater tot hot dish. And then by the time I get the ingredients, either by leaving my house, which does not appeal to me, and going to get it, or by door dashing it, by the time the ingredients are at my house, I'm going to be so over it, and I'm going to make a microwave chicken pot pie.
if you're going to get $35 or more worth of stuff, get it from Walmart. They'll deliver it free.
That's true, but then I'm supporting Walmart.
That's fair. That's very fair. That's enough. People, we got, what, 2 hours right about here? Excellent. That's a good time to stop. Say goodnight, Michelle.
Yeah. Good night, Michelle.